Okay, part 3, we are factoring. We have a trinomial, so we're going to end up with 2 parentheses. Now, how am I going to get x to the 4th in that first slot? Well, I need x squared in both of them. Then, what multiplies to make 24 and adds to make 11? 8 and 3. I'm done because this is a square and we can't even do anything else with that. 21. First thing we should probably take out is a GCF of x squared. X cubed minus 1, which now this is a difference of cubes, which is a formula you need to memorize, which is a minus b. Then we're going to square a, we're going to multiply a and b, and then we're going to square b. 22. Our exponent's an even number, meaning that it's going to be a perfect square. 64 happens to also be a perfect square of 8. Well, unfortunately, we can take this even further because this is a difference of cubes and this is a sum of cubes, where it is x and 2, x and 2. So we have to use this formula again. This one's sum, so we have x plus 2 square of a minus a times b plus square of b, and then it's going to be the same thing but different symbols. So x minus 2 square of a times b, square of b. (23). Well, usually when we see 4 terms, we want to factor by grouping. I'm using pencil for a reason right here, because what we're going to notice is that when we take stuff out, so this has a GCF of x, this doesn't even have a GCF, nothing's going to end up matching. And that's the whole ultimate goal with factor by grouping. When this occurs, this is a good indication that it's going to be a 3, 1. Well, looky there, isn't that just amazing? The side of the x's are the same. So we end up with actually another perfect square, which has a minus sign in the middle. Well, what's x plus 5 squared a perfect square of? X plus 5. What's 16y squared a perfect square of? 4y. Done. 24. This is a sum of cubes problem. You guys can go ahead and do that one on your own. See number 28. That is actually a difference of cubes problem. I've already done that up here and up here. Just mimic. 25. Well, what multiplies to make 3 and makes 2? Absolutely nothing. Prime. That's cool. Moving on. 27. Once again, our first question we need to ask ourselves, is there a GCF? In this case, there's a GCF of x. So let's go ahead and factor that out. Then 27 looks exactly like number 20 now inside the parentheses. Well, it's going to give me that x to the fourth in the f spots, x squared and x squared. What multiplies to make 16 and adds to make 8? 4 and 4. Please do not be tempted to take this further. Why? Because that is a plus sign and not a minus sign. We cannot factor sum of perfect squares. (29). I notice that it's 4 terms. I'm going to factor by grouping with a GCF of x squared and a GCF of -1. Factor those out. Isn't that dandy? The parentheses match. Please do not call it quits because this is called factoring completely. This is a difference of squares. (31). Notice here we have x to the 6. What needs to be in the f spots to get x to the 6? X cubed, because x cubed times x cubed is 6. I end up with -8 and 1. Once again, this is called factoring completely. So this is a difference of cubes. This is a sum of cubes. (32). I have a leading coefficient that is not 1. So we need to morph or do that special way that I showed you later on in the year. So my attic is 48 on both methods. My basement is 19. What multiplies to make 48 and adds to make 19?
16.
Thank you. 16 and 3. And the way I showed you in the beginning, later on in the year we took that leading coefficient and then we reduced if we could. So this guy slides out. This guy slides out. Or you can do the whole rewrite part. And then factor by grouping. This is going to have an 8x, x plus 2. This is going to be 3, x plus 2. Guess what? They give me the same exact answer. FYI, I skipped number 26 because it's just like number 20. Moving on. 33. It has a GCF of 5. So let's go ahead and take that 5 out. It doesn't have a variable on it because not all of them have x's and not all of them have y's. So, what needs to be in the F spot to get the X? Well, it needs an X and an X. What needs to be in the L spot to make the Y? A Y and a Y. Now we just need to figure out what we're going to pair them up with. Well, we're going to do -30 and 7, attic, basement. We end up with a 10 and a -3. which we're going to divide by 3 on each of these because that's my leading coefficient. This one reduces to -1 over 1. So this 3 slides out, plus 10. This slides out, -1. Next one, we have a GCF of 3xy. So we end up with 3x squared plus 11xy plus 10y squared. Guess what? We're going to do the same exact thing that we just did over here. You guys can complete that. We need to mimic what we did in number 33.